A college admission officer wants to find somebody who's a good fit for their class, and you have to demonstrate that fit, which means you need to understand what does that word fit mean. Is it absolutely necessary to have a college counselor by your side? Most people start with the premise of, we're only going to send our kid if they go to a top 10. To me, if you're able to navigate that process on your own, that's half the job done. But
how does a parent who's not with a counselor or B counselor or with Crimson figure life around? Are we saying that admission officers or guides such as you have become very imperative to the process because it's a very, very competitive space, and rightly so, because you're looking at X number of applications and X minus 1,000, seats to be taken. So how does the whole dynamics work?
Is it absolutely necessary to have a college counselor by your side? If I'm being truthful, the answer is no. I think you can still work this out. It's going to be a high risk proposition because there's a
high risk, high involvement.
High involvement. It also requires you to understand the process very, very intuitively ground up, which means sometimes completely cutting out all the noise around you and trying to really understand what you're trying to do. So eventually what we're really trying to say is that a college admission officer wants to find somebody who's a good fit for their class, right? And you have to demonstrate that fit, which means you need to understand what does that word fit mean, and be honest to yourself that you truly are a good fit or not. Because sometimes we know deep down we're not a great fit, but we still go ahead with the process saying, I'm going to figure a way to lie or pad it up to make others believe I am.
Yeah.
Right? So the first level of honesty is where you will figure out that this is not who I am, and so the chances of me getting to this school is unlikely, and I'd better off not be at that school. And then you go on that search to find out what are these schools where you're going to be a good fit at, and if you naturally feel inclined to a school, I'm sure if you work towards that, you can probably get there. Now, of course, when you talk about the top tier schools, because when you talk about college admissions, most people start with the premise of, we're only going to send our kid if they go to a top 10, top 15, top 20 school. What is top 10, top 15, top 20? Whatever was reported in a ranking list out there, right? Now, unlike India, and I know I might get a little, some brickbats for this, unlike India, where I can really count, if you really push me hard, on the top-notch educational institutions in this country, and then it quickly slides to a place where you don't want to send your kid, right? In India, we're sort of limited by choice. So if you want to study, a certain discipline, there are some 5-10 really top-notch schools, whether it's in, management or engineering or other fields, right? But in the US, I think the way college education is structured, I think there are at least 50, 60, 80 fairly good institutions which will deliver a great quality education and help the child thrive. To me, if you're able to navigate that process on your own, that's half the job done.
Got it.
Right? The other half is to be able to then demonstrate that you truly are what you're, showcasing. So it's not rocket science. It can be done on your own. But it requires us to sometimes, at least growing up in India, forget a lot of things we were taught, including how the world will value us, right? The whole race towards Olympiads or certain accolades or certain majors is coming from this way we've sort of structured the society, or rather how parents drill certain concepts at a very young age that, hey, engineering, computer science, these are the things to focus on. These are the achievements. This is how we value individuals, grades, etc., right? So I think if you're true to yourself and if you're out there to find what is the right institution for myself, you can do this on your own.
Parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kidsstoppress now.